Mission Control, we pause at this moment in our countdown to remember and honor the lives of each of the participants on the Celestis Memorial Spaceflight. Their presence on this flight signifies a commitment to the opening of the space frontier shared by all of us. We wish the friends and families present today and all those who are with us in spirit all over the world Godspeed, good luck, and our thanks for allowing us to share this very personal time with you today. Elsie out. 5, vehicles armed, 3, 2, 1, fire. Missile away.
Well, good morning, or rather, good evening, everyone. My apologies. So used to starting my day. My name is Marc Lee, and I'm the Celestis ambassador. And we are revisiting a lot of our people here after the celebration of our last flight, our Horizon launch, which was absolutely unbelievable and successful. We have a lot of information to pass on to a lot of you who have questions and just out of curiosity. And we're going to go ahead and bring on our CEO and our guru here, Charles Schaefer, who you all should know by now and after our last previous updates on the Horizon mission. Charles, how you doing?
Doing good, Mark. How are you today?
Oh, excellent, excellent. We had a wonderful launch, and we were really happy to fulfill the wishes of our loved ones up there. I'm getting people saying, unable to follow audio, can't hear you clearly, bad audio breaking up. I don't know why.
Well, it got better, Mark. I think you got a delay.
Yes, maybe it is a delay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still see.
You sounded like Donald Duck at the beginning.
Oh, did I really? I don't mind sounding like Donald Duck. I'm in the Disney area here. Okay, so thank you, Eric. Looks like it's getting better now. I think the system needed to catch up. So if you didn't hear me before, I was welcoming everyone after our successful Horizon flight that we had, fulfilling the wishes of our previous, I should say previous passengers, because they're no longer, or maybe they still are our passengers. Charlie could better explain that to you. Charlie, what's going on? What do you have to tell us? What's going on with this update today to fulfill our people here?
Well, as always, we try to do these monthly live events and to bring to our Celestis family interesting guests. And we got one of those tonight, as well as information about our activities. And as you said, Mark, we're still in the celebration mode of having successfully put the Horizon flight into a multi-year orbit and fulfilling 106 participants' Memorial Spaceflight dreams. And that felt good to get that done. We're looking forward to a couple more missions this year. In about August, we'll have the Aurora Flight, which is one of our Earthrise services, which will launch out of Spaceport America, New Mexico. And that mission will fly to space and return flown capsules, creating flown keepsakes for folks. And very much like the early Mercury flights, suborbital in nature, but crossing everybody's definition of reaching outer space, providing some weightlessness. Sort of at the other end of the spectrum, we're expecting in the fourth quarter of this year to conduct our Luna 02 mission, which we have named the Tranquility Flight. And that will be our second Luna service. And I think we closed out that mission fully booked. There's, I believe, 64 passengers on that flight on the Astrobotic Peregrine lander, which is a commercial space mission funded by NASA, and for which we're looking forward to a successful flight to the moon, which is a big mission for us. Looking backwards a little bit, there's still some check marks on the Horizon flight that we're working on. One of them we'll talk about at length tonight, which is the tracking of the flight. And the short answer is we are not yet tracking the flight. When I say we, I mean the United States Air Force, Spaceflight Inc., and everybody else who is interested in the precise location in orbit of the Sherpa spacecraft. And what I'll do is read you a communication I got from Spaceflight last Wednesday when I asked our mission director for Spaceflight, Michael Coletti, is Sherpa still lost in space? And he said, hey, Charlie, it's still just narrowed down to a cluster of objects. Some recent data we got downlinked threw us a bit of a curveball since it indicated that we were an object that was already claimed. We're expecting updated data this week, and hopefully we'll be able to provide more determination as the objects tend to drift apart over time. To remind everybody, Horizon was part of a 143 satellite launch. And it turns out that putting all those things into orbit at once creates a bit of a challenge for the folks at NORAD and other places who track satellites. But we're certain that we'll get it done. And when we get it done, of course, there'll be a link on our site, celestis.com, that allow you to see where it is real time. And also, as I mentioned, we'll talk a little bit more about a neat new product that will enable you to track it with a lot more information. So I won't foretell that anymore, but just hang in there for a second. Second sort of remaining piece of the puzzle is to produce what we call the family video. And that is well in production. I expect to see the draft of that tomorrow, produced by the folks that produced our wildly successful webcasts of the mission, Cosmic Perspective. And I checked with them. They're down in Boca Chica, Texas, having survived the great electricity meltdown and freeze, and are now producing that final video. So when that's done, we'll send out an email to all the participants' families and primary contacts, letting them know that that family video is now ready for download. I'm looking forward to seeing it. It was a great launch. So those, I think, are the major updates that we have. We are working hard to get the capsules prepared for our Tranquility flight because they need to be in Pittsburgh at Astrobotic headquarters next week. And as I said, we're looking forward to that flight. We've opened reservations for Luna 03, haven't named it yet, but we're looking to fly that in about 2 years, sometime in 2023. Marc, you're muted or you're speaking and I can't hear you.
Yeah, I always mute myself so I don't disturb you. And look what I did.
I'll just keep rattling on.
Well, you know, if you need a name for that lunar flight, I think the Marc B. Lee, Marc B. Lee Surgeons, something like that, you know, would be great. Just to recap, before you said that the U.S. Air Force, inclusive or non-inclusive of NASA, is unable or have not begun to track the 143 satellites, I do believe, that was launched Is that correct?
No, it's close. NORAD, North American Radar Defense, is the entity responsible for tracking all of our objects in space. And they're working it, but have not identified specifically which one Sherpa is. As I mentioned, it's at this point, I believe they've narrowed it down to a couple of them. And what happens is when they release all 143 at once, which is a huge number of satellites,
right.
A lot of rockets only release one satellite at a time. Then you got this whole stream of all in the same orbit, all in the same location, that have to drift apart to where they're able to be identified specifically. So it's underway. Everybody's confident that they'll get it done, and once it's up, you'll be able to track it for many, many years.
Sure, I'm sure it's just a waiting game right now. But considering how long all of us has waited to get this flight up in the first place, I think just a little bit more longer it wouldn't be too bad, considering the number of years that they're going to be up there, and the number of times you as the family will be able to track it. The other thing I wanted to ask was about the video production. That would have to be proofed. You have to view that, and is there any more editing that's going to be involved?
I'm sure I'll have some comments on the first version.
First go round.
We'll get it around. I expect that'll be done by the end of this month at the latest.
Oh, very good.
Which for us is a world record in terms of turning the video around. I believe the previous mission, the New Frontier flight, the Heritage flight, that was about a 6-month effort because you have to go through literally 3 days of 12-hour tapes. So you're looking at 35 to 40 hours of raw video, and you're trying to narrow that down to 12 to 15 minutes. Right. And make it cohesive and inclusive. It's a reason why movies are in production for multiple years.
Yes.
But as I say, I've been told by the folks at Cosmic Archive, Ryan and Mary Liz, that we'll see the draft tomorrow.
Oh, excellent. I'm glad that at least the folks that are in the chat room right now are very lighthearted about what's going on right now, and especially with the tracking of their loved ones, especially this individual right here, Regina, who is basically commenting the Horizon flight as something out of sci-fi. We'll find it, Regina. Trust us, we'll find it. So that's pretty good. Okay, welcome to the Aussies that are watching us as well from Australia. Welcome, you guys. Good to touch to you. Okay, Charles, so that's all I wanted to chime in, just to reconfirm of what's going on with our mission.
We're on it, and we move for aerospace, great speed. So at this point, I think it would be great to get into a little bit more detailed discussion of the exigencies of tracking objects in space, and to introduce our guest for the evening. And for those of you that participated in our webcasts, you know Liam Kennedy for his behind-the-scenes work. He really was critically important in the production of all those days of webcasts. But what most people don't know is that Liam is world famous for creating a really cool product called ISS Above, which for a layman just basically tells you when the space station is traveling overhead. It's a lot more than that, but it's a great little tool and locator. Liam was so well recognized, including in the Wall Street Journal, for this product line that he developed. He was approached by the Planetary Society and asked to create a custom tracker for their light sail project. And I know many of our clients follow that. It's a very cool solar sail mission. And so he has light sail above as part of that ISS Above. So we got to talking with Liam, and we said, well, why not Celestis Above? And he said, of course, no problem. I'm on it. So probably sometime in April, we'll start shipping out our product, which incorporates ISS Above, light sail above, but also will allow any of our family members, their extended family, anybody that's interested in any of our orbital launches. And right now we have 4 spacecraft. I expect that puts us ahead of a lot of countries in the world, but we have 4 spacecraft orbiting the planet right now. And you'll be able to track the Celestis spacecraft of your choice, thanks to Liam's efforts. So with that, I'm going to say welcome, Liam. We're thrilled to have you as a guest. And I'm going to let you walk us through what you do and what your systems do. And Marc, feel free to introduce any questions. And I'll be quiet for a while. I'll just sit here and be fascinated by the work that Liam is doing. Take it away, Liam.
Well, thank you so much for that introduction, Charles. I'm really honored to be here. And yeah, I want to start out by, I'm actually going to switch. I'm just transporting everyone to space right now. This is live video coming from the International Space Station, actually it's just passed by Japan. It was very cloudy there. And how this is happening is my ISS Above, that I'll introduce more formally in just a second, is pulling that live video from the NASA feed and displaying it onto really my TV, which I have hooked up into my webcam system here. So, that's part of what my ISS Above is all about. But in particular, what I want to share, I'll take you back 7 years ago. This was the first version that I created of the ISS Above, and I did it using a Kickstarter. I shipped the first ones through Kickstarter, which is a crowdfunding program. But I want to tell you why I created it, because I think you'll understand why I'm so excited and honored to provide something for the Celestis family. I created the ISS Above to be something that would initially let my grandchildren know every time the only human beings who were in space were above them, which happens more frequently than many people would imagine. Around 5 to 8 times every single day, that International Space Station is somewhere in your sky. It could be directly above you, or it could be just off to the side, but nevertheless, I wanted to create something that my grandchildren would really be able to work with. And my youngest grandson, Owen, at that time was a mere 3 years old. And, obviously, it takes a bit to, I think, entertain a grandchild. But one of the easiest ways to do it is what I'm going to show you here. So this is the little box, and every time the space station would be passing by, it would do this. It's now messing with my green screen. But you can see there's a really bright LED. It's also got some other flashing going on there. But what I did that to do was to really provide that very positive and obvious indication that the space station was above. Now, it does a lot more than just flash. It also shows that live video feed from the ISS, but then it has a bunch of information screens that really tell you a lot more about what's going on the space station. And I'm wondering whether I should roll tape now of a little intro that it's from someone that many of you may know. It's actually Bill Nye the Science Guy, who was a very early backer of the project. And he just loved it so much, Bill has them in the offices of the Planetary Society in Pasadena. And maybe I'll just run this video. So if you'll bear with me, I will switch over to that feed. In fact, yeah, let me just do my magic and wizardry here. I'm going to switch over to this for the time being, and just get ready to run the video. And so excuse me just a second. All right, here we go.
Bill Nye here. I'd like to talk to you about something cool. The ISS Above. It was developed by a Planetary Society member. It's a Raspberry Pi computer that you can connect to a monitor or your television. It tracks the International Space Station in real time, shows you where it is above the Earth's surface. Furthermore, when the space station is in daylight, its cameras are trained on the Earth and it will show up on your monitor or television. Every astronaut who's flown in orbit says how moving it is.
Oh.
Bill Nye here, remarkable.
Sorry about that. Looks like I managed to mess up the playing of my own video there. So
That's quite all right.
What Bill was just about to finish with was how it now tracks their light sail as well. But hopefully you got enough of it there just to get a sense that Bill Nye thinks it's a cool little device there. And what I've got behind me right now is that live video feed. But if I just stop that just for a second, I can take you through some of the additional information that the ISS Above displays. Now remember, this is not an app. It's not something that runs actually on your phone. This is something that I designed to have display to a TV or monitor. So imagine this in your room or on a little monitor that you've got to the side of your room. And what it's designed to do is to really give you all of the information about this. In fact, this one, I think I've actually, yes, here we go. So this one is actually, yeah, displaying when the next pass of the space station is. It's actually not for another 7 hours for me now. The red dot that's on this screen here is showing where I hang out. Despite my accent, I actually live in California, and the red dot shows where I live. But on this particular screen, it's showing the current orbit, shows where the space station is. It's got a bunch of other information in there as well, telling you the elevation and velocity. So just sort of some technical things that you can see there. It also lets you know when the next visible pass is of the space station, gives you some detail about how bright that next pass is, and where to look as well. And then it shows the current crew who are up on the space station. You know, at the moment there are, you know, these 7 wonderful human beings who are living up there, and sort of going to get busier over the next couple of weeks and months going forward as there's a crew swap out and additional crew coming up. And it got a little news page to tell you about things that you can view on NASA TV, and then again back to the page that gives the countdown to the next pass. So that's where it's probably a good idea for me to mention something about what it means when this is tracking the Celestis flights. And if I just switch over to this screen over here, so this one is something that I have just done a little bit of work of, illustrating how Celestis Above would work. This is not tracking the space station. It is actually tracking one of those 143 satellites that have launched with Celestis. So it may or may not actually be the Celestis launch, but the Horizon launch. But nevertheless, if we're pretending that this object is the Horizon flight, this, as you can see, is showing you the next time it will be above my sky. And this particular page is showing you a track of the pass that's coming up in 2 hours and 38 minutes. So this one, you'll see it's got a little diagram showing the compass positions, and there's a little purple line that's going across the right side of the screen there, showing that it will be traveling rise time in the so it will be going from the southeast all the way up to the north, and it will take some minutes to do that pass. And every time it will be in your sky like this, that bright LED will be lighting up on the Celestis Above device. So this is just really to give you a little bit of a teaser of what this will look like, and how it will then work for your particular Celestis Above when we've got that working for you. And I'll sort of finish by mentioning the connection that hopefully works well in this situation. As I said earlier on, I created ISS Above to have my grandchildren really connected with the human beings who are in space. And since I launched it, there's now 3,500 of these around the world. They're in private homes, science centers, museums. They're at many NASA centers as well. But what it was really always about was having that connection be possible. So I would be honored to think that this little product will really help the whole Celestis family in maintaining that connection, the wonderful memories that you have of your loved ones who are on a Celestis launch. And that's what I really hope I can help with that going forward. Anyhow, I haven't been tracking the any questions that may have been coming up, but I'm very happy to have any questions repeated to me.
Liam, if I could interject,
yes.
and yes, we do have questions we will be getting to, but I just honestly have to say I am stoked. I am going out of my mind. Now, the fact that Celestis, we have our own tracking system of all of our loved ones that we place in the orbit, but just imagine you've already gone to bed, 11 o'clock, and at 3 a.m., your whole room is being illuminated, okay, because your loved one is flying above you, is beyond conception. This is unbelievable, Liam. I'm really, really excited about this, and to think that this was even possible. But my question to you, I'm reading this as literally some sort of streaming service, because it is in fact an antenna or a cable connection, a direct cable connection. And this is how that information is being fed to us, either through your little mother box there, as I like to call it, if you're a Justice League fan, or on your TV. I'm assuming you have both capabilities, correct?
Yeah, so this box, if you want to see the information, you have to plug it into a TV. But it will light up even if you don't have a TV connected.
Wow.
And I also wanted to mention, although when this is in ISS Above mode, it will be displaying information and live video via your internet to your attached TV. So it will be showing
we don't
those
need
things then.
Right.
But,
I'm sorry.
So,
my question is, we don't need to purchase two boxes if we do Celestis Above and ISS Above, right?
Oh, no. So
okay. Charles has an answer for that. So
yeah.
he was muted. Hold on. Go ahead.
You gotta mute me. There we go.
There you go.
Very cool, and really excited. It's in development. We're able to take, so there is the current product that you can purchase from, and the notes show you directly from ISS Above, which would get you the ISS Above and the light sail above. In about, well, we're taking pre-orders for shipment in late March, early April of the device that includes those two, but also the Celestis Ad Astra, Millennial, Heritage, and Horizon flights. It will also include the Excelsior flight, which is our next orbital flight, and every flight in the foreseeable future as we fly more and more. And that will be available. So you can pre-order that if you want the Celestis version of that, only at the Celestis website, www.celestis.com. Go to the Horizon Collection section of the site, and we're taking pre-orders starting right now. The product is up. It's very cool. It's a neat box. It's really a handsome piece of equipment, and we're really excited about being able to offer that service. And again, we expect, and more importantly, Liam expects to be able to start shipping that out end of March, early April. And so you'll be able to get woken up at 3 a.m.
That actually reminds me of a very cool story I received from one of my customers that said, "Hey, I have a feature request." And they said, "I really love the bright LEDs. However, we just got a new puppy, and the puppy keeps waking us up at 3 a.m. in the morning when this thing goes off." So the request was, can you put a time when the LED is in do not disturb mode? So
how broad is the overhead? I know that polar orbiting satellites that fly like Landsat, the imagery satellites, have I don't remember what their range of photo is, but it basically revisits every third day, sort of the exact thing. But I would think that it'll be a lot more rapid than that.
I can actually give you that directly right now from this demo version of this initial version of Celestis Above. It's a bit of a tricky calendar that I've got displaying here, but this is available on the Celestis Above. What this is showing you is every pass of this one of the 143 objects that were launched with the Horizon flight. So it's one of those satellites, but it's a very similar orbital sequence that you would see for the Horizon flight. Let me describe sort of what's on here. So this calendar shows almost 2 weeks of passes, and you'll see at the top, you'll see each hour of the day is listed, and on the left is the day. And then you'll see that there are dots or circles going across each day. And every time you see a dot or a circle or even a bigger circle, it's referencing a period when this notional Horizon flight is passing over my location. So it would be over your location. But you'll actually see it really does pass over you every day. It's just that, and twice. So it's really in 2 separate timings. And this is due to a polar orbit. This is what the sequence looks like. You'll see at approximately the same time in the daytime and the same time at nighttime. It's sort of like the passes are between like 9 a.m. and 12 p.m. every day during the daytime, and then around 9 p.m. Around whatever it is, 8:30 p.m. up to midnight or 11 p.m. In the evening as well. So that's this particular orbit sequence. You know, it could be different for other of the Celestis family sites, Celestis family launches.
Yep.
But that's what it is. And then you also asked about the visibility of them. So obviously the Celestis flights, they're usually very small satellites, so their visibility would be, you know, far less than the space station, for instance.
Yeah, none of our spacecraft are naked eye visible. So one of the reasons why we can have an affordable service is we don't have to build a big machine to fly in orbit. I need to correct our note taker a little bit. She is telling people to go to ISSabove.com, which would be great if you don't want the Celestis application version. If you want the Celestis product, you need to come to www.celestis.com. Go to the Horizon Collection, which is our store, and you'll be able to pre-order it there, and beginning in late March, order it. Liam will do the fulfillment, do the drop shipping, and be your master. If you have a question, he'll be on board to help you with the question. I should also mention that because this is Marc called it a streaming service, which is a pretty good description, because there'll be information about Celestis missions, photos of the launch, updates embedded in the daily feed as well. So that it's a lot of product information, content, I think is the word that people use, about your mission. So we've hired Liam to basically make this a custom version of the ISS Above, but because of that, you're only able to get it from Celestis.com. And now they are for sale, but if you want the free tracking, you can just go to our website and you can see where the spacecraft is. As soon as we know where it is, you can see where our 3 spacecraft are right now. But the ability to do all the things that Liam talked about is in the ISS/light sail / Celestis Above Raspberry Pi box, and it's very cool. I know a lot of people are going to want that. So really excited.
If I could forward a very relevant question from this individual right here. In fact, I'll go ahead and put her question because it's important. It's bright. Basically, she asking is, can one carry it around while it runs on battery, or must it always be plugged into electricity?
So this box doesn't have a battery in it. You do need to plug it in. I admire where this question is going, though, because for ISS Above, I have created versions that runs off a battery, but it's really sort of if you have something like this is a big power brick.
Sure.
USB, and it has a micro USB power adapter in there. This would power this probably for most of the day. So if you were as long as you don't then switch it off, it will continue to work and continue to light up and let you know that your particular Celestis flight is going by. But as soon as you unplug it from the power, it will then not have, if you then plug it back in again, unless you've done something funky with configure the Wi-Fi so it works I approve of this if you are that technical, run it off your phone hotspot and it will then work completely portable. I had no idea that this question would come up, but as I say,
Well,
I really admire the thought process that goes on there.
Oh, we're not done yet, Liam. We're really not done. We are purposely, because of you and Charles, re-engineering this product as we speak. And my first request would probably if you put a vibrating function in that sucker. So when it's in your pocket, the light, if you don't see the light, okay, if you got it in your book bag or backpack or something like that, everyone hears a phone vibrating. It's the most irritating sound in all of humanity. But if you put a vibrating function on that sucker, knowing that we can just hook it up into our power source and it's in our pocket or whatever, well, oh, there goes Dad. You know.
So I think one of the really cool things about this is that, you know, we have a lot of children who come to the launches for their granddad or whomever. And this is a way to provide a really amazing educational tool that will be linked forever to an event that they remember and recall and were attended or were part of the webcast for. So I can see that it's a great opportunity to multi-generationally remember the participants that were on board the mission. And I can see it becoming, if you will, a gift that people would really enjoy. And you know, it's just a neat device. Somebody had asked what the price is, and the price is $174.95 on our website, which is
no problem.
Considerably less than you spent sending your loved one into space.
No problem.
And I assume it comes with a warranty and personally backed by the man himself. And
someone is asking about instructions. Does it come with instructions, or is there a help desk?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, the help desk is me, by the way, and
okay.
I know that we saw some people there in Australia. I've had some customers, teachers in Australia that wonder if I ever go to sleep. But yeah, this is there's a quick start guide in the box. You know, you'll see it will come in a nice little box like this, and there's a very simple one-page sheet that you go through the setup. It's just a 1, 2, 3, and then on the back, this is obviously focused around the ISS Above functionality, and there will also be a special sheet just for the Celestis Above, because the sort of things that you will want to be able to do is to choose which of the Celestis flights is the one that you want to track, and that initially through the order process we'll need to work out if this is feasible, but I could actually pre-configure the particular flight before they get shipped out to you. So you know, that's so that really it is just a matter of switching it on and away you go. The only thing then you do is have to configure the Wi-Fi setup, but it's all in this, and I promise you this has gone out to every kind of person who is interested in space, those who are rocket scientists, those who are actual astronauts, I won't name them, and those who are, you know, interested people of all ages. So it's an easy thing to set up, and I'm always here ready to help anyone with any questions as well.
Great question just popped up from Joyce. She's asking some very good, thank you, Joyce. And she did ask, because I was thinking the same exact thing, but Joyce put it up. How do you go back and forth?
Yeah, great question. As I mentioned, it's either or. It's you know, it's Celestis flights or ISS Above. The system has a built-in, I'll call it a web browser administration system. So you just there'll be an option to switch it between ISS Above mode, or Light Sail Above mode, or Celestis Flight mode. So, and it's just once you just click a button, it reboots, it reconfigures, reboots itself, and then comes up in that mode. So it takes about a minute to switch between those varying modes of operation, but very easy to do.
And I have another question, Lee, and I'm sorry. This is brilliant, and I'm surprised and very curious on why the general public does not have knowledge of this device. This is Jetson stuff, you know? Well, how come no one else knew about this? We're finding this out on this program right now.
I blame it on my social media manager who just doesn't know what they're doing.
That would be you, right?
That would be
you.
me. Yeah, so,
yes.
There we go. I can tell you, the moment when Bill Nye, I don't know whether you have that graphic. If you show the slide.
Yeah, sure. Which one?
It's the one, oh, right. The number, it will be.
It would be, let's see.
Slide 11. There we go. So I want to set the scene for this. I had no idea this was going to happen, but I was out training for a marathon. Oddly, I've run a couple of those. You wouldn't think of it.
Oh my God.
The way my body looks. But anyway, I was out training for that, and then my phone started to blow up with little messages from my website saying, "You've got an order." And in the time I was doing that training, I think I had 100 orders. And I saw in the notes of some of them saying, "Is this what Bill Nye is obsessed with? I hope it is. I need that. I want that device, whatever it is." And this is what Bill said. And it was in an article in the Wall Street Journal, which was an interview with Bill Nye. So as a result of that, I think that month I shipped 400. So thank you, Bill.
Wow.
Yeah. And so that was the best kind of social media that happened. And it wasn't down to me, of course. So it obviously helps if someone like Bill is interested in it.
It's amazing.
A little bit of history there.
Yeah, fire your social media guy. Just get rid of him.
Yeah, there you go.
Charlie can hook you up with somebody.
Yeah, I've typically been spending most of my time actually with the education side of this. So that's where I work with schools and teachers directly on bringing this into the classroom. And that's how I'm now an education partner with the ISS National Lab, who run the actual science lab on the International Space Station. So, that's where I've sort of been focusing my efforts as well. But it'll be so nice to have this new community of ISS Above / Celestis Above users. As I say, I shall be very, very honored and moved to know that that's where this will be going and supporting everything that Celestis is about.
Well, everyone is viewing right now, and then we're down to our last, we've got about 10 minutes or so, 12 minutes. Everybody's going crazy over this device right now. They're popping up in the chat room with all kinds of, exclaims of delight. You guys have any other questions? We'd be more than happy to share them with Leanne. And of course, you can always visit Celestis.com, our website, and our Facebook page if you have any questions about this new device, which I'm sure will be set up on our Facebook page at some point. Go ahead and ask them now. You guys are obviously the first to know that this is about to happen. So go ahead and get your questions in.
We'll be featuring it in our next newsletter, which goes out. Liam, you'll love this, to 70,000 people on our mailing list.
Just
so
70,000.
That's good free marketing for you. And we definitely.
I think you're going to need a publicity manager at some point, Liam. I'm cheap, buddy.
I will be honored. Yeah, let's hope I have that problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Liam, can you describe, if Charlie's finished, describe these other slides that you've donated to us to show?
Oh. Yeah, so I think some of them I've really gone over.
Okay, that's good.
Of what we were talking about there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not even sure that.
Yeah. What is this? May I ask?
Oh, that one. Okay, yeah. This was a little history chart of where it started out. The ISS Above. I described initially. I created it for my grandchildren, and it went from that. After I started creating this, I happened to be taking my dog for walks in a park that had a little cafe on the corner of it, and it was very near to Caltech. And I started doing the development of the code while sitting in this place, having a coffee and a cake, and various people were seeing what I was doing. They happened to have experiments on the space station. So these are researchers who work at Caltech and also JPL, and they got really interested in it. And one of them said, "Hey, I really want to buy some of these. How do I get one?" And they suggested I do it as a Kickstarter. So this is really talking about how it was really accidental that I was building them for my grandchildren, and then someone at Caltech said, "Hey, you should look at this," and I did. And then since then, it's gone on to now I have this Space Act agreement with NASA. That's unfortunately not the kind where they pay you money. It's not the kind.
Yeah, it's explicitly. Those things are explicitly no exchange of funds.
That's right. It's non-reimbursable, they call it. But nevertheless, I'm still proud of that. And I had no idea when I was just sitting initially creating this gizmo for my grandchildren that it would end up with me being invited to Johnson Space Center, meeting the astronauts who are then going up on the one-year mission. So Scott Kelly, Gennady Padalka, and Mikhail Kornienko. It just reminded me just how amazing NASA is for the USA, just how amazing that whole organization is for spaceflight and inspiring the world. So it was just a pinch me as this real life moment when that happened.
Very cool. I will interrupt to say we've recorded our first sale here of your device. So congratulations.
Cool.
And then we also have a question as to whether or not Liam is married.
That's what I was going to bring up. There's your other sale. There's your other sale for the night.
There we go. Yes.
And we're still waiting on an answer, Liam. We're still waiting.
Yeah. No, I'm very happily married, have been for 9 years. I'm trying to get the number of years right, but it's a substantial amount of time.
You blew it, Carol. You blew it.
There we go.
Oh my! Here's an interesting question right here. Orange says, "Do you build each kit yourself?"
And
wow.
Yes, it is. I should have given you actually the photo that I had of my wife who was helping me. She has her own business. My wife is she's a business coach for CEO board of advisors. So she does not normally do this kind of thing, but when I did the Kickstarter, I just utilized every resource I had in order to ship hundreds of these in 1 month. So in that case, my wife was involved in that. But I've now created a very efficient process to build and assemble these, test them.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
I promise.
Not anymore.
It will all work very smoothly. So
okay.
And I'll look forward to the challenge, definitely.
Wow. And I'm assuming that there are, in fact, 3,500 units that are already out there in the world, mostly amongst professionals, correct?
They are across the realm. When you do a Kickstarter type of thing, you'll find that people will be interested in it who come from all walks of life, all ages, all backgrounds. So, no, the 3,500... I guess if I could have shared a little graphic, if you go to issabove.com/map, you will see a map of most of the ISS Above units. I haven't sort of put all of them up there because I
That's interesting.
maintain it. But it's
Wow.
it's a very wide group of individuals that use it. I say I personally focus on the education side of ISS Above, but that's not to say it's not in use in just, right. It's in some coffee shops, some bars, wine bars.
Oh yeah, that'll wake them up.
So yeah, exactly. There's a lot of places where people enjoy this kind of thing. I remember one of my customers shared how he bought ISS Above for his dad, who was retired, and didn't know if he would like it or not. But it turned into something where his dad said that it was the best present he ever received. And what they do is it's set up in their breakfast nook, and they find themselves around the breakfast table in the morning looking at live views of the Earth from the space station, that sort of will look like this if you do switch it over to the ISS Above mode. This is actually showing a recording of the live video feed as it was going over. Initially, this was, I think, a pass over the Great Lakes, and now this is showing a portion of the extremes of Canada a few weeks ago, probably at the same time that Houston was under the extremes of the weather, power, and water issues that you were experiencing there.
So we have another question which we need to address, which is, can we track the lunar launch? And let me take an answer at that, which is, the answer is yes. It won't be on this device, because this device it's literally letting you know whenever the satellite goes overhead. When we do the launch with Astrobotic, the whole world will be tracking that spacecraft all the way to touchdown. And once it touches down on the moon, our portion of it doesn't move. So the way that you'll track it after is that you'll see the moon rising in the evening, and you'll know to look in that upper northeast quadrant. And if you've got your telescope, I can't remember the name of the crater that we're targeted for, but you'll be able to see the crater. You will not, unless you are working for an intelligence agency, likely be able to see the spacecraft on the moon.
You know what?
That mission will track very closely all the way from launch to landing.
Yeah, it's really interesting you mentioned that, Charles, because I was thinking something on the similar lines. And of course, Liam, this goes to you. Have you had any security questions from various agencies on this device?
So sometimes, so the answer is no. So is the question may be coming from this area, which I have been asked before, which is some people are surprised how the tracking for satellites is really available, and they sort of think it might be in subject to some security issues around is that a problem of any kind. But the fact is, obviously, as many of you will know, is that the satellite basic satellite tracking is available in the public domain, and part of that is because we have to have access to that in a form that allows people to track objects in space and make sure they don't collide. So I just utilize the public domain resources for the basic information about the satellite orbit, and then I do the math on the Raspberry Pi to actually calculate where it's going to be when it will be passing over. So I don't know if that was the question of security.
No, you answered it.
Okay.
And I'm just as surprised that I can access almost any satellite that's up there once that technology is widely available. And it's a question that you obviously answered. So that's Good to hear. Interesting.
Just to add one more, so there are super secret satellites. In fact, there was even one that was launched on the satellite. You know, those that are, you know.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, those for the, and there are other satellites where they don't really want you to know precisely where it is. However, you know, those of us in the amateur
there's a global community
you
that
got it.
specializes
Oh my
in
goodness.
tracking those suckers down.
There are people with telescopes that are looking for them, and you'd be surprised how quickly you find where things are. Like the X-37B, whatever that. The one that's the super secret.
The space plane. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Wow.
So the sales are rolling in here.
Yeah, I noticed.
All
right.
You'll need to get to work, and I'm sure we'll need to bring you back so that for all the people that didn't
that is
hear
a joke, right?
hear you this week, you may just have to become a regular, and we'll call it Liam's Corner.
Yeah, why not?
I'd be delighted.
Wow.
Yeah,
well, this is unbelievable. It's unbelievable, and I'm excited to actually have the opportunity of purchasing one of these and have it wake me up at 3 o'clock in the morning with, you know, flashing lights and disco music. You know, yeah.
On my porch, I do have a 3-meter long LED strip.
Good God! I mean, come on.
And Johnson Space Center does have it hooked up to one of the 4 entrances to Johnson Space Center. One of the gates has a big LED system that lights up a canopy, and they decided to buy one of my units to make it work for that too.
That is awesome. That is very, very cool. Very cool.
Anyhow. Well,
very good.
Well, I think, okay, Charles.
If we hit the hour mark, we can go
we are.
on. Liam, you've been a fantastic guest for us this evening, and
you really have. Thank you.
We really appreciate the innovative work that you're doing. It's the kind of thing we like to highlight on our shows. Because
you know, it makes us unique. It makes this company very, very unique with not just the guests that we always bring onto these programs, but now we're doing product entries, you know, and this is us. This is Celestis.
Well, I've just always been inspired by what you provide to families. I heard about you before I got connected with the Memorial Flight, the webcast with Cosmic Perspective.
Which was incredible. It was fantastic, by the way.
I'd heard about you beforehand, and I just always thought it was what you provide is such a very special way to memorialize loved ones. So it's my honor to be a part of that world that you've created.
Thank you very much.
Wow.
All right, friends and neighbors and fans and clients and everybody. This hour went fast. We'll be back next month, and we'll have more information and more interesting updates on our launches. And by then, I'm hopeful that all of our Horizon families will have viewed the video of the launch, and we may even decide to play it next time. So, Marc, as always, thank you so much for
thank you. Liam, that was incredible. Thank you guys so much. Everyone that has watched, remember, you can replay this entire video on our Celestis Facebook page, on the Celestis website, I'm sure. So if you wanted to share these with loved ones, knowing that, okay, there's another new toy, you know, that you can go ahead and show them this video, and they can go ahead and put in their orders as quickly as possible. So there isn't a backlog, which I'm assuming there will be. I'm pretty sure there will be. I suggest you guys put in your orders as quickly as possible, so that Liam, he's doing this himself by his hand. At some point, he's going to need to sleep. So to put together your device that you ordered 6 months ago is because you didn't order it now. So let's do it. Okay. Thank you, Charles. Everyone that has joined us this evening, thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and sign off, and we will be putting out an announcement as to our next broadcast. So just stand by and wait for us to come back to you. And on behalf of Charles and everyone else, good luck. Thank you. safe travels to our loved ones that are above us as we speak.
This is the launch conductor in mission control. We pause at this moment in our countdown to remember and honor the lives of each of the participants on the Celestis Memorial Spaceflight. Their presence on this flight signifies a commitment to the opening of the space frontier shared by all of us. We wish the friends and families present today and all those who are with us in spirit all over the world Godspeed, good luck, and our thanks for allowing us to share this very personal time with you today. Elsie out. 5 vehicles armed. 3, 2, 1, fire. Missile away.
All right, it's